Good evening, and thank you for joining us for this edition of Our View.
This show explores topics from a seed in poverty and the way it shapes our world.
Tonight we'll be discussing the high cost of being low income.
Our guest today is Janice Chapman, Program Manager for Good Systems, a program of Goodwill Industries of Southwest Michigan.
Welcome, Janice.
Thank you.
Tell us more about Good Systems and the work that you do at Goodwill for families in poverty.
Good Systems is a program for parents. It's a 2-gen program, so parents with children. And what we want that are unemployed and underemployed. And what we want to do is we want to bring more value to them as employees. So for those that do not have their high school diploma or their GED, I want to help them go back and get their GED and do whatever I can do to help them, successfully receive that. And then for those that do have high school diplomas, I want them to go and get some sort of certificate, one of their own interests. I don't want them to have to do something that I think that they should do. I want them to do something that they would like to do.
So career pathways, not just a job, but a career pathway.
Yes, a career pathway. And those that have gone to school and may have started on a associate degree or something like that, I want them to finish that associate degree. And if they want to change, they can do that too. So that is Good Systems, and what we do is we provide a lot of support, and I find myself sometimes being the accountability person for a lot of the participants. So I really think that the Good System program is not just emotional and that kind of thing, but we also can help out as far as financial is concerned. So I think that is the best part about the program, because it's kind of hard and difficult to study and have to worry about a bill that you can't pay today.
So I can get assistance with a utility bill or an eviction, or if I need food, some of those services. So at Co-op we've been discussing this concept of the high cost of being low income. So I'm a low income individual and I need to get a car to get to that really great career path that you just got me. And you can see a commercial on TV, 0 down, $99 a month, drive away. That's not for us.
That's not for us.
When we get there, they can't even help us. We have to drive up the street to the sign that says $39 down in a job, and I'll give you this car. And we pay 5 times as much in interest rates, mortgages, even credit cards, anything like that we do to try to establish our credit. There's a high cost to that. We don't get the credit to be able to go to a furniture store and buy it now and pay 90 days later.
Right.
We have to go to Rent-A-Center and pay 9 times as much.
Absolutely.
So how do you educate your families or assist them financially to avoid those pitfalls and to, in fact, try to establish good credit? Because it's pretty hard to do if you're low income.
Yes, it's pretty hard to do, but it's not impossible.
Okay.
The thing that I think about when as far as other participants that I worked with, they are right now, I need it now. So it's going to require a little patience. If you don't have credit, one good thing that we can do is we can pull up your credit report and we can show you what the lenders are looking at. And that way you'll look at your credit report and you can say that this is wrong, I never did this, those kind of things.
And clear some of that up.
Yes, and clear.
How do you boost up a credit score, though? So say I'm a single mom and I make just enough money to pay my bills, like I'm barely scraping by. How do I start to establish a credit score if I've never bought anything? Because if I did go to that buy here, pay here, that's not reporting to the credit bureau for me.
Not unless
how do you do that? Like, how do you break into?
They're credit building programs. And they're not as difficult as you think they are, and a lot of people, they have 6-month programs, they have 1-year programs. I talked to somebody who did a 3-month program to start boosting her credit through her credit union. And that's what we'll tell them that, these are the things that that you can do to boost your credit score. And once you eliminate some of those things that shouldn't be on your credit report, and then you participate in a credit building program, we can help you find a credit building program. And I know that we are currently trying to find another credit building program to work in partnership with Goodwill. So that's what we would do. We would direct you in that way.
Because ultimately, isn't that where some things need to change too, is within financial institutions? Like, I remember, do you guys remember, and I'm terrible for not doing the research for this, but it just kind of hit me. We were going to have a credit union here, and it was going to be geared towards low-income folks.
Yes, I remember that.
So that they would be able to get fair market value and not have their credit so, finite looked at. What happened to that? Do you guys know?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't remember what happened to that either. Like, I remember they were building it up, and then you just didn't hear anything more about it.
Right.
Because ultimately, don't you think that could make a difference if there was a
Yes.
financial institution
Yes, I do.
that could look past that 480 credit score, because I've actually never had credit established
Right.
anywhere, or to be able to make a mortgage at a fair rate for me, or a car loan. I know that Blue Ox does some good work around this, like they have their signature loan. So if I have an account at Blue Ox and I do direct deposit for my employer, and I think there's a certain amount of time you have to have your account, like maybe 3 months, but then you can sign for $1,000 for any purpose. You don't have to have a purpose, and then pay that back, and it begins to establish credit with the credit union. So that then once you've done that a couple times, maybe you can step up to a car loan or a mortgage.
That's good. Yes.
Excuse me.
But we do need more establishments like that,
Do you work with organizations like that? Like, do you have local credit unions and things that you work with for your clients to establish accounts for them?
We have, and we're, like I said, we're trying to reestablish another program because the one we were using, it expired. So, and they're no longer in existence. So now we're trying to find another one, and we're trying to work with a couple of our different credit unions here. So maybe we'll be able to establish something with them,
We find too, Janice, that a high number of the population that we work with, they don't even have accounts.
I know it.
Like, they deal only in cash. They cash their paycheck. So we have a training program at Goodwill, and they receive stipends for it. And Stymax, the little carryout that's like 2 blocks from us, knows us because most of our training candidates go there to cash their check, and they pay $12 to $15 to cash this little itty-bitty check, when it could be free to a credit union to them. We do try talking to them, and of course we always recommend that they work with the FOC Center and try to do something different. But do you find?
I find a lot of that. As a matter of fact, when I'm with one or two of my participants, or as a class, one of the tasks that I have them do is start saving $2 or $3 and put it in a sock in your drawer. I said, don't think about it, don't worry about it, put $3 more in there, that kind of thing. And I said, give it about 3 weeks to a month, and then go look at that money and count that money and take that money to a bank and open up a bank account. I said, because it's a lot cheaper. You don't have to worry about getting a ride to Walmart for the, and that kind of stuff. And I said, and it's just good to have an account. It's convenient,
freedom, right?
Yes.
And you don't have all those fees.
No.
And a lot of
there's
credit
different
unions.
ways that you can purchase things. I think sometimes it's a lack of trust, too.
I know it is, yes.
I've had members say to me, I had a bank account before, and they took my whole paycheck for fees. Yeah, because you overdrew something, and that's what happens.
Exactly.
And again, I got to plug Blue Ox because that's part of what I like about them, because we've actually worked with some of our clients and Blue Ox when that's happened, and they're really good about getting rid of some of those fees and working with especially if they know they're low income.
Yes.
So I think that we need more of that. What do you think, Val?
So I think one of the other things, too, is we find a lot of our clients, if they owe child support or they owe a back bill or it's on their credit report or something of that nature, their first concern is, well, they'll go into my bank account and just take what they want. And so I think that's another reason that we find that a lot of our clients just don't have banks. and won't use a bank simply because of that.
Yes.
I have a member who tells me I keep my money right here,
Yeah.
Teresa.
Yeah.
Right in her bra.
Yeah, it's where it stays. It's the safest.
Yes. But it really isn't the
No.
best way to do it, though.
No, because it's not helping to build, you know, if you have a direct deposit every month and you're in a credit union, then you're building up, you know, you've been there a while, then you're building up rapport with them. They understand that you have this direct deposit coming in every week. Okay, well, let's start them out with a very small, low interest credit card, maybe a $100, $200 max. And then as they start to make those payments every month on that credit card, they don't seem to understand that that right there is building up credit for
Yes,
them.
it is.
And so
But do
that's
you
one of the
recommend
things.
that for your clients?
With a small low interest credit card, I would recommend first a secure card. So they are invested in that.
So
if-
it's really their money.
It's
they just keep
that they're
borrowing
showing
against
that
it.
that they're showing them that I can go and charge something, pay that off, go charge something, pay that off, and then after a while, they will send them a check back for their secured money, and then it'll cover. You know, whatever that was, it will be the amount of the credit card because they've already proven that they will pay that. Because we want, I mean, for you to even establish credit or do anything, you have to have a job. You have to have monies coming in. So you have to think about your money. You don't just spend your money. And that's what I like about our Financial Opportunity Center because that's what Dawn and Cesar do. They show you your money. You know, they
Right.
take that money and they put it in a budget. They show you. A lot of times you don't have enough to cover, but at least you know what you have and how much more you need.
And you know what it is you're looking at.
Exactly. And what the lenders are looking at the same things, you know, too, you know, as far as your credit report and things are concerned. So it's the literacy, it's the learning and knowing and understanding your money. It's not enough to just get your money and spend it.
But a bigger picture issue is for me is that, yes, I do 125% agree with you that financial literacy is important for our population served. But I also think that sometimes we put a lot of responsibility on them for establishing when they don't really have enough money to do that.
Right.
Like they're very low income. Like we say, well, you should have paid those things.
No.
But how?
Right.
No, that is not the way that we even look at it, no. Because, of course, if they had the monies, I think a lot of them would pay their bills, you know.
Absolutely.
I do, I really believe that. I've seen...
How do you help them avoid those pitfalls of the buy here, pay here cars?
Sometimes it's very difficult because that's a statement that I hear a lot is, I have to do what I have to do, Miss Janice. And I understand. I mean, I can sympathize with them, but I try to talk them into, again, doing something that is very difficult to do, and that is to stay within their financial means. And maybe you have to ask someone to give you a ride, and, you know, maybe some people can ride bikes back and forth. My sister is very good about riding her bike everywhere she needs to go.
Or carpooling.
Yeah,
We do a lot of
carpooling.
And then you save your money towards buying a vehicle.
And then there's something called social capital. It's people that you meet that are pretty much in the same boat that you are, and you work together.
That's called the co-op, Miss Janet.
This is what it called. That is good. And so, yeah, so it's a lot of things we have to struggle through. But I don't know, I try to change their mind about the way that they're doing things. I mean, and it's up to them to accept what I'm saying, but I'm going to try to tell them the right thing, the better thing to do, you know. But I'm also going to offer my supports whenever I can. And so they don't have to worry about some things. Don't worry about that this time. I got you, you know, that kind of stuff.
And I think that sometimes that can replace, because for me, I think that sometimes where is the difference in the economic lines, right? Generationally, kids from these families are going to end up in poverty, or at least starting out in poverty. And then maybe they get somebody great that helps mentor them and they figure the path out. But it's hard because there's no foundation there, right?
Right.
So where are the differences? The differences are being able to have those things, see them, and have access to them growing up. Because this, again, comes to those rules about the economic classes. You live by the rules, right? There's a reason why I go to Rent-A-Center, because I know that Rent-A-Center will give me a couch, and I need a couch.
Yes.
And I know that I'm not going to be able to go and establish credit somewhere else. So sometimes that I think that it's harder, like the difference between generational and situational poverty, right?
Right.
Situational, chances are I have some other resources
Yes, you do.
and supports. I have an aunt or a grandmother who can help with these things, or parents.
Yes.
Where folks who are growing up in poverty, generally those support systems that are around them, when they do start to do well, that's kind of a tug at them too.
Yes, it
because then
is.
they're trying to support other people in their family and help them too.
Yes.
Like, I just don't think that the assets are there to build the foundation from. So I just think it's great that, like, you are that person.
Yes, that's what the Good Systems program, that's what we try to be. You know, if a parent is successful, it's a better chance for the child to be successful also.
Right.
Because they see their parents maybe struggling, but they also see them overcome that struggle. And they know that it can be overcome. So that's, a lot of times when you only know one way of living, of course that's the only way you're going to live. When you don't have any hope, or when you're put behind the 8 ball before you even become an adult, you know, sometimes the parents are putting utility bills in their names and credit cards in their names, and you know, all of that kind of stuff, you know. So we have to again, we have to work with the parents so they don't do those kind of things. And even though they come from that poverty background, they don't have to stay in that poverty background.
Plus, but it gets heavy and it gets discouraging. I work a full-time job and I can't even afford to own my own car, and I'm barely affording the home I live in, which isn't that great.
Right.
And I'm still facing utility shutoffs all the time. And what can I do? I'm working full-time. You know, co-op got its start in this world because I worked full-time as a long-term care aide, and I had 3 children, and I couldn't feed them one night. I literally couldn't feed them. I went to the refrigerator and all I had was a pack of pork chops. And it was my friend and neighbor who brought the rest of the meal, and we fed our families together, and that heart is why we started co-op.
Yes.
And why we still exist to this day. But I think that it's tragic when you can be a single mom like I was and work full time and still not be able to maintain and manage. And if I didn't have grandparents, parents, siblings, other people that I could go to. I had friends, but they were all just as poor as I was. So I think that that's one of the reasons, folks, that co-op is so important, because it does give you that network of other families.
Yes,
and no, none of us have a lot, but if you bring a box of macaroni and cheese and you bring some pork chops and I bring some beans, we can eat.
Yes.
And I think that's true of everything. Like, we just have to keep helping and supporting each other.
Yes.
But I think this is a bigger picture for me, too, because I think that there are institutions that have to realize that folks need opportunities, and you're not giving them an opportunity when you double the interest rate on their mortgage, or, you know, you don't sell them a car with an adequate interest rate.
Right.
I just think that there's a lot of those things within institutions. So is any of Goodwill's work, or the Financial Opportunity Center specifically, is any of it about educating institutions or trying to make change?
At this time, I have to say, no. You know, we're not, we're always sitting around the table. I must say that in a different way. I don't know exactly what my boss's job is and what he is actually out there doing. So I can't say that we're not a part of the systemic change.
Right.
Okay. I don't want to say anything like that, but I know I'm not sitting there. I'm working in the agencies that, with the other agencies that offer the supports to these individuals.
Sure.
That's what we do at the Financial Opportunity Center. So I don't want to say something that Goodwill is doing that I don't know if they're doing it or not doing. But the Financial Opportunity Center, we're support. We want to help them eliminate barriers, help to eliminate the barriers that they have to doing the things that they need to do to change their lives. As a matter of fact, our mission is changing lives through the power of work. And so, of course, we're going to do everything possible to help them get to work. We're going to do everything possible to make sure that they are valuable people to these employers and things like that.
And that they can move up so that they can make enough to be able to afford to survive and thrive.
I was telling somebody just recently, I said, I remember my first real job, and it was, I made $3.35 an hour. And I had a son that was looking at me like, Mom, I need this and I need that. And I was like, okay, honey, I'm going to do the best that I can. And I was lucky and blessed to have an aunt that was there for me, and she helped me with child care. And my parents were here too, but my aunt was the one that stepped up and said, you don't have to worry about anything. No, you don't have to pay me to babysit. I'm at home anyway, and I'm with my grandchildren and things like that. So I also ask that our populations that we work with, I also ask them to, talk to people. Let people know where you are. You never know where your other supports are, that kind of stuff. So again, systemically, I don't know what we're doing, okay? But I do know that what we do is very important, and we have seen the changes. I have a young lady I want to share with you, and she came into the Good Systems program, and she was a little depressed. She said, Miss Jess, I've been looking for work, and I've been doing this, and I've been doing that. So she was having difficulties in her interviews. So we sat down with her and we did her resume, and we did some mock interviewing and all this kind of stuff. And then she had 2 interviews that she was going to. She went to this interview, and she actually got the job that she really wanted. Okay, and so she got this position, and it has to be, of course, we went through the pandemic and still going through that. So it's been probably 2 years now that she purchased her home. She purchased a home.
That's fabulous.
Yes. And no one's name is on that mortgage but her own. That's what she said to me.
And so what you're saying is the difference is for her the financial literacy and being able to establish an income and keep that stable.
Yes.
But you will agree that there's still some things systemically.
Oh, definitely.
Take car insurance.
Oh,
yes.
my goodness.
You don't get a good car insurance rate, and it has nothing to do with being a bad driver, having accidents. Solely has to do with your credit rating. So
and
what
they
does that
say
have
it
to do with
doesn't,
that?
though.
But it does.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And why? Why should it?
Exactly.
It shouldn't.
Just because I don't have any accidents, I don't have any tickets, just because my credit is bad doesn't mean I can't drive.
Right.
I think it's a matter of they sign you up for this 6 months policy and they want to know that you'll be able to pay. But I think that that's ludicrous too, because if you already question if I'll have enough money to pay, why do you give me the higher rate?
Right.
Give me the lower rate then, because you already know I'm going to struggle to pay this. That just makes good sense.
Yes, it does.
And for a while, employers were doing the same thing. Like they would interview you, and then they would say, so we need to do some background checks. And one of those background checks was your credit. And if you were going into a position where you were going to be handling cash or that type of thing, they would say, we can't hire you because whatever reason they would give you. In reality, it's been done in different types of surveys and things that they won't hire someone who has bad credit, because if they have bad credit, they're more apt to embezzle from their company.
Yes.
And that to me,
because if I'm poor, I'm hungry, and if you bring me to the table, I'm going to eat.
that's right.
I mean, I guess.
And that's what they say. And
Yeah, that's what they say.
Well, we're
again,
running out
stereotypes.
of time, ladies.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Janice.
Thank you
for
for
this very
having
important issue, I think, among our population,
I do
and being
too.
able to weigh out both sides of it, because I think oftentimes we do get that the struggle is real, but I don't think we get how deep that is. You know, when we're in a good position, not saying that I am, but when we're in a good position, we think, well, why don't they just get a job and pay their bills
Right.
and, you know, get a bank account and you can establish all that stuff. It's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
And then lastly, I want to do a little plug about our sewing hub. So we're now open for
Yes.
business again after post-pandemic. We make these very lovely shirts. Val's wearing one, and I'm wearing one today for with our little co-op logo on it. We also do a slew of other things that we create and make in that room that we recycle from donated goods that nobody wants anymore. We recycle them and purpose them into new things. And they do seamstress work and alterations. And also we do custom designs, so you can get anything put on a t-shirt or a coffee mug or a sweatshirt. So come and see us at Trinity Lutheran Church. Check out our website. We also have a She Speaks Strength campaign going that's on our website that has Cricut designs on it. So check us out. Order something. Support your local co-op.
Great.
Thank you so much.
I will.
Thanks, Janice.
Thanks,
Thank
Janice.
you. Thank you for
Thanks,
having me.
everybody.